Hello, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about how to create relationships between two or more tables. And before I continue, I want you to go back to the previous videos where we learned how to create tables. So please go back and check it out. Or the link will be in the description so that you can also find it easily. Also, a link will be provided on the screen if you cannot find it in the description. Okay, so what are relationships? Relationships are, connection between two or more things. So we want to learn how to create relationships in our database. It is very vital that you know the following. One, you have to know that in order to create relationships between entities in your database, you need to have two or more entities in your database. So, what I mean is that in order to create relationships in your database, you need to provide or you need to create two tables in your database. If you do not create two tables in your database, you cannot establish relationships between two entities. So don't forget, so relationships are an association between two or more entities. Okay, so let's go straight to our database and then let's see how we can create relationships. So I want you to go to your database and then create two tables of different entities. So you can see here I have two tables, one called the customer table and then the other one is called the orders table. Now I'm going to tell you what you need in order to create two tables. In the beginning I said that you need two or more tables in order to create a relationship. Also, when you create a table, you need what is called a primary key and then a foreign key. As you can see here in my customers table, the primary key here is the customer ID. The primary key is very unique to every table. Therefore, a primary key is a key that is very unique to a particular entity or a particular table or record. Okay, so when we talk about primary key, we are talking about the first key on the table. Okay, so when we see what we see here on the customer table, customer ID is an attribute that we call the primary key, and this primary key is very unique. Let's move on to the orders table. The orders table has a primary key called what? Order ID. The order ID is what we call the primary key attribute on the orders table. So don't forget. Now, what are foreign keys? Foreign keys are primary keys on another table. Let's look at something here. We can see on the customer table or customers table that there is an attribute called customer ID. Now, when we go back to the orders table, we can see just beside the orders ID that there is customer ID. Now, the customer ID is acting as a foreign key on another table. So customers ID is a foreign key. Don't forget, customer ID is a foreign key on the orders table. So in order to create a relationship, you need a primary key and a foreign key. Okay, so let's see how we can establish a relationship. Before I continue, we also talked about um, data types in our previous videos. Please do check out the video and then see what data types are. Thank you. So now let's see how we can create a relationship. First of all, we need to go to database tools. So we need to go to database tools tab on the ribbon. So let's go straight to the ribbon and then click on database tools. So we'll go to relationships here. Then we are going to add our tables. If you do not see a pop-up, you can just go here and then click on add tables. Then you see this pop-up. Then you double click on the tables, customer table, and then you can also double click here, or you can just click here and then come to add. Okay, but I am just going to double click on the table. Okay, so this shows the number of tables that we have created. Okay, so let's double click and then we close this. So I was saying that you need 2 or more tables in order to what? Create a relationship. So therefore, as you can see, I have 2 tables here. That is the customer table and then the other table. And each table has attributes. So these are attributes of the table. Attributes are what describes an entity. Okay, so attributes are what the entity is about. Okay, or attributes are the things that we want to take from an entity. Okay, so now let's see how we can relate these tables. So I said earlier that a primary key is a unique key on a table. Okay, so the primary key here, we can find that it's customer ID. Let's see if we have another foreign key on this table. You can see that there is no foreign key here. So we will check on the others table and see if we can find both primary key and a foreign key. Okay, so let's go back to the others table. So this is the others table. So this other ID is primary key here because of this symbol here. So you can see there's a key here that is telling you that this is a primary key. Okay, so let's check if others table have let's check if it has um foreign key. Okay, so we can see here that there is customer ID. Customer ID is acting here as a foreign key. Okay, so in order to create a relationship, you need what? A primary key and then a foreign key. Okay, so in order to create this relationship, we are going to take the primary key on the main table and send it to the foreign key on the other table. Then we join it like this. Okay, so when you see this, so let me see this. When you see this, what you are going to do now is what? Click on enforce referential integrity. Okay, and then you click on cascade update related fields. Okay, so you can see here tables and queries. So this is telling you where this attribute is at. So it's on the customer table. You can also see this is telling you that customer ID is also on the others table. So these two are going to help us to establish our relationship. So let's go ahead and click on create. Okay, so it says the table could not log to the database table could not lock table orders because it's already in use by another person. So what it means is that we need to go and then close the tables we've opened so far. So let's go to OK and then come here, close this table, close this table too, and then it will be left with this. So now let's do that again. So we carry this, send it here, and then click on enforce referential integrity, cascade updates, related fields, and then we go to create. So you can see that our relationship here is established. Okay, so whenever the ID here changes, it will also be changed over here. So that's why it's called a relationship. So there's a relationship between these two tables due to this primary key and then this foreign key. All right, so you can see that our relationship here is created. Please, when you do this, and then you can just go here to save. Okay, or you can just close it, and then it will ask you to save, and then you save it. Okay, so thank you for watching the video, and make sure you subscribe. In our next video, we are going to be talking about queries and how to query our database, and also how to create reports that can summarize our queries or information on our tables. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe.
They no go fi take what's mine, I no go agree yo. Life is a dangerous game, more walk on my path, don't fear no evil.